Welcome to Pierce and Lance's Car Road Book Talk! And we're going to be telling you about the Lives of Tao. Lives of Tao is a book written by Wesley Chu. It's 457 pages and is written by Wesley Chu, who is an Asian immigrant from Taiwan. This is Wesley's first book that he's ever written and was a huge success, spawning 3 sequels.
And this book involves alien creatures that Tao, who is technically the main character in the book, takes over a human host. At this point, Rowan, which was a normal civilian at this point, is taken over and now has someone that can control his thoughts. During this process, Rowan has to be trained in the ways of the Phosphus. During this time, he learns that the biggest enemy to the Phosphus, the Jinx, don't care at all about the human hosts and their plans to get back to their Quasar, their home planet. And Sonya, the one who's training Rowan, learns that Rowan is really out of shape. And during this time, when they go on their daily morning jogs and their regimen of learning how to fight, how to hold a gun, and how to fire a gun, it gets a little dicey. During his training with Sonya and with Lin, Tao learns Tai Chi. During this time, he learns how to successfully fight off Jinx agents. This is very important because in his first mission, he's thrown completely into a storehouse of the Jinx, and he has to learn how to fight off other agents that know the same fighting tactics as him.
During Rowan's first mission, him and about 20 other Phosphus agents snuck into a Jinx warehouse to grab a detector that would detect quasing inside human hosts. Now this may not seem like a big deal, but with this detector, the Jinx would be able to find every single Phosphus agent and kill them without them even knowing. This would also allow the humans to prove that quasing were real and not just a conspiracy that crazy people made up. I can personally relate to this book pretty well because in the beginning of the book, it's Rowan who's an overweight sort of coder for a company. And it's about how when he first gets Tao as a host, he has to go through all this like intense exercise and intense workout. And I can relate to that pretty well because, as most of you know by now, I was extremely fat. And like Rowan, I started running. Unlike Rowan, I don't have a Tao in my head. We're gonna talk about whether or not we would recommend this book to you as a potential reader. So personally, I would recommend it. I mean, if you're into sort of like the science fiction-y sort of feel to a book, as well as like the action-packed thriller of like a James Bond novel, I feel like this is really meant for you.
First, I mean, going off the same thing Pierce was saying, if you want an action-packed book, this is definitely the way to go. It's just kind of like, there's a little bit of romance because you have Sonya and you have Rowan. But that's not the main point of the book. You literally see what would happen if someone else controlled your mind. If I controlled Pierce, man, the things that Pierce would be doing. It's just kind of fun to see what would happen if you got to control someone else's mind.
Off of that, it's really good about capturing how Rowan's thinking, like in a natural sense. Like, even though it's not a real story, it really does a really good job of showing what Rowan's thinking and how he's feeling about certain aspects of it.
And you definitely get to see his personal feelings, just like Pierce was saying, as well as the feelings of Tao. There's no sense that, okay, maybe all of a sudden Tao's thinking is Rowan's. You get to see what Tao's thinking. And then off of that, it goes off, well, Rowan thinks this. And so you have the contrast of whose idea they're gonna go with. And that's definitely something that's really interesting in the book.
So this has been our book talk. Thanks for listening. Hopefully it wasn't that bad.